remote teleconference this evening. If everybody would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Heffinger.
Here.
Lamb.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coyne.
Here.
Hazeltine.
Present.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I'd like to make a motion that the minutes of the May 11, 2020 regular meeting as prepared and submitted by the clerk be approved.
Second.
Any discussion on the approval of the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coyne.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council meeting and we will meet again in 2 weeks. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Health and safety, I attended via conference the LLC Advisory Board meeting last Thursday. Everything seems to be running smooth there as usual. Other than that, nothing to report, no other meetings scheduled at this time.
Thank you. Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening and no meeting scheduled at this time.
Thank you. Special Legislation, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report and no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Streets and Sidewalks, Mr. Heffinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report at this time, no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Water and Utilities, Mrs. Hazeltine.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report and no meeting scheduled at this time.
Thank you. Emerging Technologies, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Request for council action. We have several for finance. We have 2109 budget amendments, 2110 modified grant contract, project 1063 Remark Airfield, 2111 grant application, Ohio Criminal Justice Service Police Department, 2112 accept grant body armor program, Municipal Court, 2113 accept donation of hand sanitizer from Spray Products, 2114 memorandum of understanding with Teamsters Local 436, 2115 expenditure for Lippman Inc. decorative lights for South Elmwood Bridge, 2116 job creation grant Miller Plating LLC, 2117 job creation grant Carlisle Brake and Friction Inc., 2118 MCRC temporary age restriction change, 2119 discussion on opening of the municipal pool, 2120 expenditure over $15,000 for color renovation at the Uptown Park, and 2121 vehicle donation to Medina County Career Center by the Police Department. Reports of municipal officers, Mayor Hanwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The City Hall remains partially closed. We have the inner doors locked, but the phone numbers so that the public can access us if they need to. We're also meeting with people with appointments. The payments may be made both inside if that's the desire of the public, or the drop boxes have been moved over to the municipal court lots, both the U.S. Post Office and the utility drop boxes. So the governor has opened up a number of businesses since our last council meeting. Hair salons and barber shops were permitted to open on May 15th. Restaurants were permitted to provide outside dining on May 15th. Restaurants were able to provide indoor dining starting May 21st. All of these also still require proper social distancing, disinfecting, and limiting the capacity in each of those facilities. We are working with the City of Brunswick, Wadsworth, and Medina County on a coordinated opening up of the public buildings. It'll likely be sometime in June. We just have not worked out the date yet, and things seem to be working well as they're operating currently. The new parking deck outside of City Hall here on the south side is being erected with a $1 million capital grant from the state of Ohio due to the historical downtown and numerous events and activities that draw visitors from a broad region to our square. The deck costs about $3.8 million, so the city is loaning or fronting the remaining $2.8 million. And the city established a tax increment finance district for the areas being improved adjacent to and surrounding the parking deck. The west upper floor of the parking deck was poured about 3 weeks ago with concrete, and the eastern side was poured on last Wednesday, May 20th. We expect this project will last until near the end of June. I'd like to encourage the constituents to please complete the U.S. Census forms. It's important that all of our residents are counted. We qualify for state and federal grants many times based on the population reporting. We have a number of projects underway. South Broadway Street between Grant and Lafayette is closed for reconstruction. This is one of the 2 brick streets in the city, and it's partially grant funded. Today at Board of Control, we awarded the contract for the center block crosswalk installations up on Public Square. We also awarded at Board of Control the sidewalk repair program this afternoon, so that will begin shortly. And I also wanted to mention May 17th through 23rd, which was last week, was EMS Appreciation Week. And we appreciate all that LST does for the city, the township of Medina, and the township of Montville. And last but not least, the original Medina Square Farmers Market will open its 15th season on Medina Square beginning on June 6th and will run through October 17th. A change this year, the market will be open from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. for guests who are 59 or older or immune-compromised shoppers. And then the rest of the public are welcome from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The market is presented in partnership with the City of Medina and sponsored by the Cleveland Clinic Medina Hospital. Due to social distancing requirements and concerns for the safety of the guests and vendors, the market has been reduced to roughly 20 full-time vendors and another 6 to 8 part-time vendors. A full selection of products will be offered. For more information or to see the customer shopping guidelines, I encourage you to visit the medinafarmersmarket.com or the Medina Farmers Market on Facebook. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. I sent the council a report on our delinquent water accounts. It's surprisingly, it's not really any worse than it normally is, even though we're not currently doing disconnections. So we're happy that everybody's continuing to pay their bill for the most part. And of course, the income tax, the reminder again, it's been put off. It hasn't been waived. It still has to be filed, but not till July.
Thank you. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Chief Kinney, please, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
And I don't know, is Chief Painter there? I didn't see him. No. Mrs. Marshall?
No, sir. No, sir. And Mrs. Marshall left.
Oh, she left. Oh. Mr. Mendel, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to notify the public that during the next week or so, Medina County Sanitary Engineers has a project where they'll be relining some storms or sanitary sewers in town. That will require a partial lane closure on Weymouth Road in the area of Woodland Drive. They will have flaggers and cones and everything set up when there is a lane closure. It's only during the day and will only be for a couple days this week.
Thank you. Is Mr. Worley there or did he leave?
He left. He left, sir. We have Mr. Wright and Nino left.
Okay, Mr. Wright, Recreation Center Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple quick updates from the Rec Center. As you know, the Rec Center will be opening June 1st with limited hours. Our new hours will be Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The occupancy limit for the building is set at 100 for the first 2 weeks and will be members only. Due to the limited number of patrons that can be in the building and only certain areas that will be open, Our age restriction for entry is 16 and over for the facility. Due to the 2.5-month closure, as a courtesy, we'll be extending all active memberships 3.5 months, since we know some members will not be able to attend in June due to the restrictions. For more information, please go to our website at www.medinarec.org and see the list of areas that will be open June 1st and procedures for entries. Lastly, I want to thank Medina TV for putting together a video for us on the reopening procedures and regulations for the rec, and that will be available for viewing in the next few days. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Piccoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you. Notices, communications, petitions, there's none. Unfinished business, there's none. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to the introduction of visitors. All comments should be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear right microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered in the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody in City Hall that wishes to address council at this time?
We have no visitors present, sir.
Thank you. I have 2 emails that came in that they wanted me to read at the meeting here. One of them is from Ralph Jockey, attorney downtown Medina. He says, as we discussed, he says, I understand that Brand Center Carroll will be presenting the new courthouse plans and cost estimated today. This was sent on Friday. They did submit the plans on Friday, but there was no cost submitted as of this date. As we have discussed, the current Medina County Courthouse has asbestos insulation and fireproofing. The current Gilbane agreement explicitly relieves Gilbane of the responsibility for the cost of asbestos removal and disposal, hazardous materials, as well as any related costs of associated delays. Have you been successful in having Brand Center Keller include asbestos removal and disposal in their cost estimates? Of course, even if those costs are included in the estimates, Gilbane will not be responsible for such costs without a contract amendment. Please stay on top of the issue and protect the interests of Medina citizens. Please consider this to be a public comment to be presented at the next Medina City Council meeting. I did speak with Nancy, the architect, today at Brand Center Carroll and asked a question regarding the asbestos cost, and they are going to be included in the cost of the demolition of the building. So it's not going to be a hidden cost. The cost will be told before it's done, and that'll be part of the construction costs that'll be incurred by both the city and the county when that occurs. So, Mr. Jacque, thanks for your information, and we'll keep on top of it and make sure we understand what those costs will be. The next issue for public comment, it came from Pat Walker, also an attorney in the city of Medina. The cost of the joint courthouse project have risen to above $60 million. The cost of the new courthouse shown in the April plans was $42.8 million, which does not include the $2.66 million architect's contract, the cost of asbestos removal, and the interest on the county bonds. The county plans on issuing bonds for at least $30 million, which will cost taxpayers at least another $20 million in interest. $42.8 million plus $2.66 million plus $20 million is $65.46 million. That is a massive cost, and it does not include the number of other anticipated expenses. For the courthouse shown in the April plans, the city's share is at least $10.7 million. Before the city and county spend all the taxpayer money to demolish the iconic white column 1969 courthouse, the voters of the city of Medina shall have the opportunity to put the courthouse issue on a November ballot for a vote by the people. From 1 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays, and from 5 to 7 on Thursday evenings, all of May and June, there will be a social distance drive-through for the city of Medina voters to sign a petition to put the courthouse issue on the ballot. This initiative will give citizens of Medina a say before more than $60 million is spent and the iconic 1969 courthouse is demolished. The drive-through is at 231 South Broadway across from Garfield Elementary. Look for the sign courthouse petition here signs. Any citizen who has any questions or want to help gather signatures, please call 330-722-5567. Thank you for reading my public comment. Is there any other public comment by Jared? Do you have any on Facebook?
No, we do not, Mr. President.
Okay, thanks. That ends the public comments. Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. Is there a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions? Ordinance 9520, Resolution 9620, Resolution 9720, Ordinance 9820, Resolution 9920, Ordinance 10020, Ordinance 10120, Ordinance 10220, Ordinance 10320, Resolution 10420, and Ordinance 10520.
Move to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings.
Denny?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules for 3 readings? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the motion to suspend the rules on 3 readings?
Rose.
Yes.
Fields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ordinance 9520, an ordinance authorizing the expenditure of Technology Engineering Group LLC for the server refresh project for the Medina Municipal Court.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move that we add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Any discussion on emergency clause and ordinance? Is Matt there from, I think he brought this last time, or was it Cindy or no? Well, this is just a trying to get a refresh project for the Medina Municipal Court and, you know, for the server. I mean, they talked about it at the last finance meeting, and I think they need to be paid the amount of money associated with the project. Any questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Rose.
just to add, this is also going to improve the backup solutions that we have, give us a cloud-based backup solution as well as a local-based backup solution, and along with improving the reliability of the servers in question here. It's anticipated to last between 7 and 10 years.
Great, thank you. Any further discussion or comment? The clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Fields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Fields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 95-20 passes 7-0.
Resolution 9620, resolution accepting the grant award from the Ohio Law Enforcement Body Armor Program to purchase body armor vests for the police department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Chief Kenny.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is our grant award for the Ohio Body Armor Program that we participate in.
Thank you. Any questions? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Coin.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Fields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Resolution 96-20 passes 7-0.
Resolution 9720, resolution authorizing the Ohio Regional Development Corporation on behalf of the city of Medina, Ohio, to file an application for grant assistance from the Ohio Department of Development for the fiscal year 2020 Community Housing Improvement Program CHIP grant.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause is requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the resolution emergency clause. Mr. Mendel.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the next round for applying for a community housing improvement and preservation program, grant program through the state of Ohio. This year, as we have the last couple of cycles, we've partnered with the city of Brunswick. The city of Medina will be the grantee responsible for and authority over the entire CHIP grant award. We are contracted with Ohio Regional Development Corporation again to administer it for with us, be our consultant on it. Partnering together allows us to generate more dollars through the grant as one grant than if both the city of Medina and the city of Brunswick separately were applying for this program. The attached information has that's gone through the RCA has the breakdown of the program design. The emergency clause is requested as we need to have the application in by the end of January, or the end of June. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions on the emergency clause and or the resolution? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Heffinger,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Heffinger,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Resolution 97-20 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 9820, ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a professional service agreement with EUTHENICS, Inc. for the Gates Mill Bridge Replacement Project.
Move to approve.
Second?
Mr. Patton?
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier last year, council authorized and we applied for a grant to pay for the replacement of the Gates Mills Bridge through the Ohio Public Works Commission. We've received that grant, and now we're selecting a consultant to do the plans for that. We went through the required consultant selection process and determined that EUTHENICS Incorporated from Strongsville is the most qualified consultant for this project and recommend that we award them the contract.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Ordinance 98-20 passes 7-0.
Resolution 9920, resolution authorizing the application for grant assistance from the U.S. Department of Justice for the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program of 2020.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Chief Kinney?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the federal version of our body armor vest program.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Rose,
Yes.
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Heffinger,
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Resolution 99-20 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 120, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of one 2020 F-350 four-wheel drive truck with a utility service body for Montrose Ford for the Water Department.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Pacoli?
Thank you, Mr. President. As we discussed during the budget process, this vehicle will replace a 2006 truck that's in the fleet, and that truck will in turn go to the auction if we receive the new vehicle by that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Heffinger,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 100-20 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 10120, an ordinance rezoning 205 South Prospect Street from R3 High Density Urban Residential to PF Public Facilities.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Mendel?
Thank you, Mr. President. As you said, this is a rezoning request by the Medina County Historical Society. 205 South Prospect Street is the commonly known McDowell Phillips house that they had purchased at the end of 2019. As a public entity and in a public facility, effectively, they are requesting to rezone the property from R3 high density residential to public facilities, which is PF. This had gone in front of the Planning Commission on March 12, 2020. Planning Commission, after review of the applicant's request and staff's report, recommended the requested rezoning to the City Council. This has gone through Finance Committee, public notice of the public hearing, and on May 11th, 2020, there was a public hearing before the City Council, and there was no discussion on the subject. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Heffinger,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 101-20 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 102-20, an ordinance amending and replacing sections 3101 and 3121 of the Salaries and Benefits Code of the City of Medina, Ohio, relative to employees not covered under the current union contracts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Mayor Hamel.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the city in the past 6 to 8 months negotiated with our Teamsters union and the police unions. And what this ordinance is doing is then taking those negotiated benefits and passing it on to the non-union members of the city. And those benefits were raises in wages of 2.5% this year, retroactive to January 1st, 2.5% in 2021, and 2.75% in 2022. We also raised the shift differential from 35 cents an hour, where it had been for a good period of time, to 50 cents an hour for those working the non-day shifts. If somebody is called back for a holiday, they get double time for the hours worked, instead of what they were getting was the holiday pay plus time and a half. We had an education benefit already for college degrees and added an honorable discharge for the military if a employee served 3 years or more. And last but not least was the changes in co-pays for the hospitalization, raising those taking part in wellness from 12% to 13% this year, effective April 1st, which will be in an upcoming ordinance. And then that may also increase in either 2021 or 2022 to 14% if the healthcare premiums raised by 1% or higher. The other thing was we increased those not taking part in the wellness program from 16% of the premium to 20% of the premium. And that stays constant for the 3 years. And the purpose of that was try to incentivize those to get involved in the wellness program. The reason for the emergency clause is we're trying to limit the amount of time remaining for the finance department to pay the wages back to January 1st, as well as catch up on the retirement program. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Mr. President,
Who said
I've just received information that the power went out at the clerk's house. Probably didn't pay the bill. But I do have the roster here. I could take over.
Please do, Pat.
All right.
Wait, which one you do? We're doing ordinance 102-20.
102-20, right.
That's okay.
All right. Coin.
You're doing, Kathy Patton, okay.
Yeah. There's a dynamic duo.
What'd you think?
All right, you're freaking me out. Okay. Emergency clause, yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes, you're quite a dynamic duo.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 7-0.
Well, the new clerk.
Emergency clause passed 7-0.
Pretty good at that.
Yes.
Now the ordinance.
For the ordinance, Hazeltine.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 102-20 passes 7-0.
Thank you. Ordinance 103-20, an ordinance amending ordinance number 187-19, passed November 25th, 2019. Amendments to the 2020 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are reductions to the budget that grew out of the budget meeting we had on May 13th.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will Mr. Patton please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Heffinger,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 10320 passes 7-0.
Resolution 10420, resolution approving the amended grant contract with the Ohio Department of Transportation Office of Aviation for the Medina Municipal Airport Remark Airfield Project and replacing and repealing resolution number 2120 passed January 27, 2020.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause and the resolution. Is this Mr. Huber?
No, this is Mr. Patton.
I'm trying to get you on. Mr. Patton, multiple roles.
Thank you.
Patton does it all.
We discussed this in the Finance Committee, and I appreciate Council bringing it to Council all in the same day. We were notified last week on May 19th by ODOT Department of Aviation that they were modifying our grant that was previously awarded for the Remark Airfield project. This is due to a statewide budget shortfall due to the coronavirus. In essence, they agreed to reimburse us for all of our expenses to date. Those expenses to date were approximately $51,000. The catch with this grant is that they wanted us to return this approved by June 1st, which would require the emergency clause and required us to come to both Finance and Council today.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment on emergency clause and the resolution? Will Mr. Patton please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Yes.
Yes.
Your mic's off.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Heffinger,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
and Rose.
Okay, I'll vote yes again.
Okay.
All right, well, the clerk, or Mr. Patton, please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution.
Okay. Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Heffinger,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Resolution 10420 passes 7-0.
In ordinance 10520, ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Local 436, pertaining to employee healthcare premium contributions.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the ordinance and the emergency clause. Mayor Hamwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the city negotiated with the Teamsters and settled their contract before we had the opportunity to come to a resolution with our 3 police contracts. As a result, it's easier for the finance department to do the change in healthcare contributions all at the same date versus different dates for different groups. So we reached out to the Teamsters to ask if they would be willing to sign a memorandum of understanding for the contract that we already passed, moving their increase in healthcare premium contributions from February 1st of 2020 this year to April 1st, 2020 this year. And of course, they were acceptable to that because it saves their members a little bit of money. The reason for the emergency clause is the sooner we can get this passed, the sooner the healthcare contributions can be assessed to the employees and avoid further delays. So I'd respectfully ask your passage.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance and or the emergency clause? Will Mr. Patton please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Hazeltine,
You're on mute.
Just kidding. Yes.
Heffinger,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
Bose,
Yes.
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
And Mr. Patton, please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance.
Heffinger,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
Bose,
Yes.
Shields,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 10520 passes 7-0.
Thank you. Council comments. Well, Mr. Heffinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Briefly, I want to talk about facial masks real quick because they've become quite a big debate recently. And as I go around town, you see a lot of people wearing them and a lot of people not wearing them. And I want to bring up 2 points about face masks. My first point is goes back to my childhood. And when I was in high school, when I was 16 years old, I had leukemia and I was under chemotherapy quite often, but not enough to necessarily make me look like a cancer patient. I've had over 6.5 years of chemotherapy in my life. And most of that, I didn't look like the bald-headed, chubby-faced looking person that's on the chemo. So if I went out in public, people wouldn't know that I had a compromised immune system. And there were many times in my life where I was quarantined to my bedroom, even in my own house, because a family member of mine might have a cold, just because I was on chemo and they didn't know what my immune system was like. I bring that up because we really don't know what the people around us are going through, especially when we're out at a store or out in the community. If they're not your close friend or family member, we don't know what their immune system is like. So when I see all these people going out in the public and refusing to wear masks because it's their freedom, I question that, because what are they doing to somebody else? You know, we are everywhere we go, we leave a little bit of our trail, a little bit of us, because if we talk, we spit, all of those things. And it can affect us as we're learning that a lot more and more. And I've known this since I was young, but I mean, most people don't go through that situation where they're being told that you have to protect yourself against these germs at all costs. And now we're in a society that goes through that on a daily basis, and people are fighting that. I mean, the germs don't care about your political agenda. They don't care at all. They're going to affect those people that are compromised. And that doesn't just mean it's old people. It doesn't mean just stay away from senior citizens. You don't really know who's compromised and could have this worst. So I ask personally that those people realize, because they don't know, to please wear their masks. The second point that I want to bring up about wearing masks is that our small businesses here in town are hurting badly, real badly. They've already had to shut down, a lot of them, for longer periods than they thought, with no income. Now they're reopening, and they have a percentage of their income coming into them. In a normal business day, if you told the business owner that they would lose 25% of their customers, they would be scared that they would have to close their business. So now, on top of months of missing lots of business, we're reopening, which is a great thing. We need to keep our businesses open. We need to keep our small businesses going in town. We need people to go out there and buy stuff. But if you, as an individual, refuse to wear your mask, there is a solid group of people out there, 25% of people out there at a minimum, that will worry about their safety first and won't go into those stores or those restaurants because they see people going out there without masks, and they know it could jeopardize them. Their safety is at risk. So while you may be taking care of yourself and you're going out and shopping at these stores thinking you're saving your community, in reality, you are keeping people away by not wearing a mask, because there's a large group that will not shop at that store if they see people not wearing masks. Our small businesses need all the customers that they can possibly get. Every single one of them. So we need to make them feel safe and comfortable so that our community starts going out and putting their money back into the community. So I ask Medina, I ask everyone around here, please wear a face mask when you go out. You're not losing your civil liberty at all. It's it's annoying to wear it. I wear glasses most places I go. They fog up. But I know that I'm making someone else feel more comfortable. I know that I'm possibly helping if I am a person that has COVID-19 and is spreading it at all, even though I might not have any symptoms. So please take the time to consider what you don't know about people, and take the time to consider to please remember that these small businesses need not just your help, but they need everybody else in this community to come back and put their money back into them. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Simpson?
Thank you, Mr. President. Eric, thank you so much for sharing your personal story. I couldn't agree with you more and couldn't have said it more eloquently than you did. People need to wear their mask when they're out in public. They don't have to wear it at home, but they do have to wear it when they're out in public. And thank you so much for sharing that story. Mr. President, the only other thing I'm going to say is be kind to one another, look out for one another, look out for your neighbors, look out for people that are less fortunate than you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lamb?
Thank you, Eric. Very well said. I can't say it better. Denny, thank you as always. Very well said. Enjoyed the meeting. I think we got a lot done. John, thanks for your leadership. I'm always happy to be here with you 6 other council people and the administration.
Thank you. Mr. Rose?
Thank you, Mr. President. Eric, well said. You checked off 2 of the items that I had on my list, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. Just to back up what Eric was saying, remember to stay safe as we open up this economy. And as we do look up the economy, I have to say it was a good feeling to drive through Public Square in the middle of the day and have to stop at the red light more than once. That means there's a lot of cars on the square, and we're getting some business going again. So those are a good thing. Very happy to see it. And again, I just want to back up what Eric said with regard to the local businesses. Spend your money at the local business. The big boxes don't need it. And last but most importantly, yesterday we celebrated a remembrance of Memorial Day. And I want to thank every Gold Star family for the sacrifice that their family member and that they've made to allow us to continue to do what we're doing here today. If it wasn't for them, Lord only knows where we would be, but I doubt that we would be here. So thank you all very much. See you next meeting.
Thank you. Mrs. Hazeltine?
Everything everybody else said. By the time you got to me, everybody else already said it. So agree. Everybody's great. Don't forget, Thursday at 10:30, Coffee with Bill and Jess, the best show on the internet. Coming on. This week, we are having Kip Irwin. He is the director at the Recovery Center of Medina County. He also serves as the manager at Serenity Restaurant. So he's going to talk about some of the procedures of reopening a restaurant, and also he's going to touch on the recovery resources available in our community.
Thank you. Mr. Shields?
Thank you, Mr. Coyne. I appreciate everything you said, Eric. Well said. Thank you for doing that. I wanted to also offer a thank you to Medina TV. I think we heard tonight where Mike said at the rec center, Jared put together a video. I cannot say enough, Matt, Miles, Jarrett, how much they have done in the last couple months to help people out. This weekend, I got to watch Medina High School graduation that they turned around in less than a week's time and had it at the same time the graduation was supposed to happen. Just a really remarkable video. They also did the senior awards. I could go on and on. Our meetings here, the school board meetings, the work that these guys have done is just phenomenal. And then a special thank you. Every year in May, we have all the 3rd graders come to City Hall here, and it was really sad to the mayor and I not to have the 3rd graders here in person. But thanks to the miracle of and the magic of Medina TV, Jared put together a tour that we do in person here. Normally, he did it all with green screen, and every 3rd grader still got to suffer through the mayor and I talking about city government. But the ability that these guys have, we're just so lucky to have Medina TV and the 3 individuals that work there. I know everybody on council sees it all the time, the work they do, but I just want the public to know we really got a first-rate operation there with Medina TV. So thank you.
Thank you. And the last thing I'd say is everybody be safe and stay healthy. With that, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.